Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today on this Friday at lunchtime to review the Regional Park Strategic Plan update. I'll just start by introducing the staff that are here today, and then I'll go into a territorial acknowledgement, and then I'll be providing a brief presentation before we open it up to questions. So my name is Emma Taylor. I'm a planner here at Regional Parks, and I'll be delivering a presentation to you today on the strategic plan update and some of the current context and direction set by the CRD board. We also have Christiana Jones, who's here today to facilitate the question and answer and help with that aspect, and Kaylin Jenkinson, who's here as the CRD communications coordinator to help with the chat and providing some resources to you. So thanks.
What we're talking about. Woohoo.
Yeah, thanks everybody. So I'd like to acknowledge the Lekwungen speaking peoples on whose territory this CRD building stands. We recognize and respect the First Nations governments across the region, the Songhees and Esquimalt nations in the core area, the Wasanich nations on the Saanich Peninsula and Gulf Islands, and to the west, the Sianu, the Sauk, and Pachidat, all of whom have a long-standing relationship with the land and sea waters that continues to this day. And I feel grateful to be a guest here on these lands and to enjoy our parks and trails in the traditional territories of all of the First Nations in the CRD. So as I mentioned, I'll first be giving a presentation and then we'll be going into the question and answer session. We've scheduled this to close at 1 o'clock, but we can be somewhat flexible on that if needed. So as Christiana was saying, we have the chat function where we can have some resources, some links posted. The public survey that's open is on our Get Involved webpage, so we'll post that link there for you shortly in the chat. And the Q&A function is where you can post a question and we'll address it after the presentation. We just ask that you be kind to each other and participate in a respectful manner. We may not have all of the answers at our fingertips for you today, but we can certainly follow up if there's additional information or conversations that you want to have after the session closes. On the Get Involved page, there's a link to our parks planning email. That's our contact if you want to reach out separately as well. Sometimes it just takes a moment to load the slides. So again, welcome to the third public information session on the Regional Park Strategic Plan update. The presentation will provide a brief overview of the current context in the region, as well as outline kind of the planning framework. I'll speak to the engagement process, and then we'll start reviewing the proposed direction and priorities for the new strategic plan. Just one moment. Just a sec here.
While we're waiting for just a second, I want to actually quickly answer a question. Natalia asked if they can't see their own video or mute or mic functions, and they're asking if it's because it's a presentation. So just in case you didn't hear in the beginning, yes, so you won't have a camera or a mic option because this is a webinar. It's only co-hosts and panelists who are on the screen. And we're doing that just because not everyone is comfortable being on camera or on mic, so we just wanted to ensure privacy and use the Q&A function to answer questions. Yeah, okay, perfect.
Okay, I'll try and resume here. I don't know why it's showing. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's good.
Thanks. Okay, so a bit of a review of the strategic plan from 2012 to 2021. Regional Parks protects and manages more than 13,000 hectares of natural areas in 32 regional parks and 3 regional trails on southern Vancouver Island and the Gulf Islands. The Regional Parks Strategic Plan from 2012 to 21 has set the overall vision, goals, and objectives for our service delivery over the past 10 years. The CRD board initiated an update of the strategic plan in December of 2021 and has extended the current plan until this coming July. The strategic plan set forth a number of priority areas that have guided our service delivery over the past 10 years. And I'll just provide a few examples of these as the highlights. The priority of strengthening management of existing parks and trails. Most notably, the Regional Park Service brought forward some sustainable service delivery report cards recently, which is the start of an asset management program looking at the state of the infrastructure and the renewal needs for the infrastructure in all the CRD parks to help better plan financially and operationally for the future. Plan for an open land banked parks and trails. So we've seen recently the opening of the ENN Regional Trail Phase 3, as well as the Souk Hills Wilderness Trail. The priority of strengthening community involvement, education, and partnerships. Most recently, the CRD has entered into an agreement with the Souk Bike Club to manage some mountain biking trails in the C2C Regional Park. Promote the health benefits of regional parks and trails. Regional Parks does this primarily through our interpretive programs and our various outreach efforts. Engage in planning for regional sustainability. This was largely accomplished through the adoption of the Regional Growth Strategy by the CRD board in 2018. The final strategic priority area is prepare for future land acquisitions. And just recently, the CRD extended the land acquisition fund to 2029. And this is a fund specifically for purchasing land for parks and for regional parks and trails. So the current strategic plan establishes a park classification system by park management focus. The system distinguishes the different roles that individual parks play in achieving the overall purpose of regional parks, which is to provide a range of protected natural areas and opportunities for outdoor experiences and activities. So you see on the screen, there's 4 park classifications. We have our recreation area park, which is Elk Beaver Lake. We have an assortment of natural area parks, which includes Mount Work, for example. We have conservation parks, which have much more limited recreational opportunities in them, as well as our vast wilderness area parks, including C2C and East Souk. The current strategic plan also establishes a regional trail classification system where we have bike and pedestrian trails in the urban section of the Galloping Goose, the Lochside and the ENN, and more multiple use trails, which are the kind of rural extension of the Galloping Goose and the currently constructed Main Island Regional Trail. So this slide provides us an overview of the evolution of the Regional Park Service, drawing attention to the key milestones that have defined the service to date. focusing more recently on some of the other CRD strategies that have been adopted. As I mentioned, the regional growth strategy being one, and a new focus on climate action. The current strategic plan identified key challenges facing the regional parks and trails system a decade ago. And while many of those challenges remain similar today, it's important for us to anticipate what emerging opportunities and issues regional parks might face going forward, so that we can set a course for our actions and responses over the next decade. So the slide before you is a summary of some of the key challenges and issues and opportunities that we see, and there may be others that we should be aware of, and we're certainly open to hearing from you if you have some ideas in that regard. An updated strategic plan will help the CRD set priorities and manage and respond to these complex challenges. A strategic plan guides the organization in consistently making decisions that move us towards a desired future state. The key components of the updated strategic plan will include a renewed vision statement that identifies that desired future state for regional parks and trails, set of mission statements that define what is the core function of the Regional Park Service, values and principles that define the core beliefs, updating the context, so the current setting and those emerging trends and issues that I mentioned earlier. The priorities and initiatives will define the goals and desired outcomes for regional parks and how we're going to achieve the desired results. And setting targets will help us measure success and ensure we're moving toward our goals. An updated strategic plan will benefit not only staff, the Regional Parks Committee, and the CRD board in consistently making decisions that advance the vision, but it will also benefit our First Nations, partner organizations, stakeholder groups, and the public in understanding what are CRD's priorities and commitments moving forward. So as I mentioned, since the Regional Park Strategic Plan was adopted in 2012, the planning context in the CRD has changed. The current CRD board has set priorities and also adopted some other strategies that we will draw from in the update of the Regional Park Strategic Plan. Most notably, these are the CRD's commitment to reconciliation with First Nations people and applying that to the regional parks and trails context. The commitment to climate action, some key initiatives relating to regional parks and trails from that regard, as well as regional transportation, most notably active transportation on our regional trail corridors, and the regional growth strategy, which is one component is protecting ecosystem health through conservation. So this slide is intended to just demonstrate where the Regional Park Strategic Plan sits within a hierarchy of other planning documents. So the strategic plan sets out the long-term direction and priorities for the management and use of regional parks and trails. Lower level plans and policies and guidelines are the implementation mechanisms by which we deliver our programs, regulate our parks, and implement the priorities across all of our program areas. So getting into the engagement opportunities on the Regional Parks Strategic Plan update. The Regional Parks Committee and CRD Board are the decision makers who've provided early input on the direction for the strategic plan. So they did that in December and January, and they will be receiving the updated plan in June and July of this year. And actually, just recently, to add to this, is the CRD has formed a transportation committee that has interest in active transportation and also has within their scope consideration of the Regional Park Strategic Plan from the active transportation lens. So they will also be provided the plan for input as well. We're reaching out to all First Nations in the region in an ongoing manner, inviting their direct participation in the update. So that's through sending invitations and setting up meetings with each nation. Earlier this year, staff held a series of focus groups with stakeholder groups representing conservation interests, outdoor recreation interests, and social community interests in the region. So out of a broad list of approximately 250 stakeholder groups that we know of, about 80 were selected to participate. And much of that work has informed the content in the survey and will inform the priority areas and adjustments in the strategic plan update. And as I mentioned earlier, we now have a public survey on our Get Involved webpage. That closes at midnight on Monday, April 4th. And there's recordings of these info sessions and other material on the Get Involved webpage if you wanted to do a deeper dive into the process. Okay, so getting into the material that is proposed by the board for informing the strategic plan update. At their February 9th meeting, the CRD board accepted this proposed vision statement as well as proposed mission, values, and priority statements for stakeholder and public input. The board also moved at that meeting that a lens of conservation and protection of biodiversity be applied to these priorities and processes. So please keep that in mind as our overarching lens for the strategic plan update. So the survey will ask some questions about the proposed vision statement that you can see here on the screen. I'll move on to the mission statements here are a summary of what is included in the current strategic plan, condensed for ease of use. The survey also asks about the mission statements and just noting that through our stakeholder engagement, stakeholder feedback suggested that the mission statement highlight also the role of the regional trails in providing active transportation, as well as the role CRD Parks plays in providing environmental education and leadership. So those were some suggestions that we heard through the stakeholder focus group. This set of values and principles has been prepared not only from the current strategic plan, but also from results of our recent public surveys and from other board initiatives. Again, the values and principles form the core beliefs and perspectives for future actions and decisions. The survey asks for your input on the proposed values and principles, and also some additional ones that were proposed through the stakeholder focus groups, including leadership, partnerships, stewardship, connectivity, education, and accountability. And finally, a series of priority statements was developed and accepted by the board as a preliminary direction for the strategic plan update. They're divided into 4 theme areas. The first theme being conservation and recreation. We have access and equity. We also have climate action and resiliency, and reconciliation. I won't go into much detail today about the priority statements proposed for reconciliation, but I'll note that the survey does ask for input in terms of what opportunities do you see for regional parks to support reconciliation with First Nations. So the priority statements on the screen are just a brief summary of the full text that was provided to the Parks Committee and Board in January and February of this year. And these are all gleaned from other strategic documents and referenced in that initial staff report. And for the purpose of the survey, these are broken down into specific initiatives or aspects for ease of your response. But I'll read the full text for you here today. So the first is take action to conserve biodiversity through acquiring land, restoration, and monitoring of ecosystems across the region. Enable users to recreate and have outdoor recreation experiences that are enjoyable, safe, and compatible. And this idea of compatible outdoor recreation comes from the current strategic plan. There's a definition for what is compatible outdoor recreation. Work with partners in taking care of the land and water and providing sustainable outdoor recreation. And foster stewardship through program delivery, knowledge sharing, and leading by example. Again, much of these initiatives are in the current strategic plan, as well as we're drawing from other board priorities and documents. So the priority areas for access and equity are enhance health and well-being by providing nature and outdoor recreation experiences for all ages and abilities. Promote complete and connected communities by ensuring recreation, parks, and green space can be easily accessed by transit, walking, or cycling. And the idea of ensuring economic fairness by managing regional parks as a common good. And strengthening an accessibility and equity lens throughout our service delivery. Moving into the climate action and resiliency section. Aligning sustainable service delivery and infrastructure improvements with climate action. So this is getting at that asset management program that I spoke of earlier. Advance regional active transportation opportunities that contribute to greenhouse gas reduction. And that could be through expansion of the regional trail system, for example, as one possible action. Develop partnerships for the long-term consistent and connected management of green space and ecosystem services. And strategically acquire and manage natural areas to address climate mitigation, urban containment, and access to green space for our growing population. So as I mentioned, these priority statements are broken down in the survey to hone into the key elements of the priorities, and actions will be developed from those. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. And we can dive into more fulsome discussion about any questions you may have about the material or the process.
We already have a question.
Great.
Oh, actually, we have two questions. So Barb has asked, is there a list of key stakeholders in the engagement process?
So the Parks Committee received a staff report on January 26, and part of that staff report did include the list of the stakeholder groups that were evaluated and represented conservation interests, outdoor recreation interests, and community and social interests. And the committee suggested a few others to be added and a few others to be evaluated for participation. So it was the ending result was approximately 80 groups were invited to participate in the focus groups. We also separately reached out to staff from different park agencies and had a focus group and some interviews with staff from the different park and conservation and recreation agencies in the area.
I might be assuming here, but I also just want to make sure Barb has her question answered. Are we going to be publishing the list of the actual stakeholders that, or the stakeholder groups, or what groups they were representing? Will that be published?
So right now we just have a brief summary of the stakeholder engagement. So the summary of what we heard through those focus groups, but accompanying the report back to the board in July will be a fulsome engagement report that most likely will list all the participants, those organizations, not individuals' names for privacy reasons, but what groups were represented there. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So we have another one from Karen. Karen says, you mentioned collaboration with the Souk Bike Club in park management. What other groups will you be partnering with, especially in the realm of conservation management? So for example, restoration of natural systems, UVic, Victoria Green Team, invasive species removal.
Yeah, so I don't know that we have specific groups in mind to approach for partnerships, but certainly this idea of strengthening partnerships and building new partnerships is one of the strategic priorities that we're looking for. And it very well could be with various research groups. It could be with new recreational groups and other agencies. So currently, yes, the Souk Bike Club is a new partner. CRD similarly has a partnership with the South Island Mountain Bike Society for maintaining trails, but we also enter into parkland purchase partnerships with different groups like Habitat Acquisition Trust, for example. So it is kind of open-ended as long as our objectives align. So there's some great suggestions there by Karen.
Okay. We have a question from Allison. Allison has asked, how is human access limited in the conservation areas as opposed to the wilderness areas? I'm concerned about the effect of human recreational use on the biodiversity values in conservation and wilderness areas.
Good question. And this goes back to the park classification system that's in the current strategic plan. So we have those wilderness areas, conservation, natural areas, and recreation areas. And this is maybe where some more clarity needs to be brought to the classification system in the plan update. So the conservation area classification currently protects regionally significant natural environments that contain sensitive and threatened ecosystems, rare or endangered plant and wildlife species, and their supporting ecosystems. Outdoor activities will be permitted provided they have minimal impact on the natural environment. In most cases, the main activity will be hiking. They will have basic facilities such as trails, parking areas, toilets, and signage. Whereas the wilderness area class has a larger land base. It does have conservation of ecosystems, but also opportunities for visitors to experience the park's ecosystems. There's opportunities for backcountry recreation and camping, while maintaining the experience of remoteness, solitude, and harmony. So it'll have possibly more facilities to support a slightly broader range of recreational opportunities. One example in the C2C Regional Park, which is a designated wilderness area, is that there is some mountain biking there. There's hiking, horseback riding, and the park management plan does contemplate that backcountry camping as a long-term opportunity to implement.
Okay, we have a question in the chat. For those who are just joining, we ask that you put the questions in the Q&A function, just because we don't want to miss anything in the chat. There's lots of links flying up there and everything. So the question is from Yvonne. Hello, staff. Thank you for your work on this plan. Were any youth recreation clubs, such as high school teams, invited to the consultation sessions?
Great question. Well, I'm struggling to recall the full list in detail. We did have representation from the youth rowing club, for example. I know that we did reach out to the different student societies at the post-secondary level. It was difficult to ensure equal invitation to all high school clubs, for example. So we really focused on the kind of not-for-profit organizations representing youth recreation or youth community interests.
Okay, we have another question. Elizabeth has asked, where can I find the definition of compatible? Would dirt bike jumping be compatible in a wilderness conservancy or nature areas?
So the definition of compatible outdoor recreation is in our current strategic plan.
Yeah, Kaylin also helpfully linked it in the chat.
Okay.
So if you want to click on that, that's our exact definition, but I think maybe we could speak to the concept of dirt bike jumping in wilderness areas.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that is referring to like a kind of a mountain bike dirt jump, because we don't allow motorized vehicles in our park system. The province does through the recreation sites of BC. There are some like off-road motorcycle opportunities, but I'm gathering you're referring to just kind of mountain bike dirt jumping. So where we do have kind of a bike skills park area is at Mount Work, which is classified as a natural area park. And that facility is kind of a series of, it's like a technical training area is what it's called. So it's an area for people to practice in order to develop skills to be able to go on the mountain biking trail system that's rated green, blue, or black for level of difficulty. So our parks wouldn't cater to having just that type of facility on its own, and certainly not in the conservation area park.
Okay, we have a few more. Ingrid has asked, you mentioned backcountry camping. Does a car accessible regional campground fall within the strategy?
Yeah, so CRD actually does have two car access, three. Oh yeah, three.
Yeah.
Yep. So Jordan River has campground with drive-in sites, Souk potholes, and there's some campsites at Island View Beach as well currently. And those, so yes, the idea of camping would fall within the scope of regional parks, what we currently offer, and perhaps through the strategic plan, maybe a new area of focus that that could be considered.
Another one, Allison has asked, is there any movement to increase the land acquisition fund?
Yes, the details of how it's being increased, I don't have at my fingertips, but maybe Kaylin can provide some resources there to dive deeper. There's been kind of a change in the way CRD parks can leverage borrowing through the land acquisition fund, kind of to strengthen, our ability to essentially kind of mortgage or borrow for purchasing land, rather than our approach in past years has been to save up the full value for a purchase. But I believe the annual rate per average household is also increasing slightly as well.
Okay, and there are some links in the chat related to the land acquisition fund as well. Natalia has asked, how does the CRD land acquisition fund learn of properties that may be of interest? I'm concerned about the current property market in our region, as well as increased development and attention from land developers may limit the CRD's ability to purchase land parcels that may be excellent candidates for this fund.
That's a really great question from Natalia. Thank you. So yes, CRD Parks has a land acquisition strategy that's separate from our strategic plan, and it is also up for renewal. The strategic plan will inform the more specifics of what is that criteria that CRD Parks uses to look at what land is suitable to add to the system. So that criteria will go into the land acquisition strategy update. But obviously we can't purchase land unless there's a willing seller and it meets our broader objectives. So often that criteria and kind of a land analysis is done by regional parks to identify properties of interest on a kind of general broad scale. And then there's negotiation with individual property owners, either coming forward and offering a property or vice versa. And also through our regional growth strategy, all the municipalities have to create a regional context statement in their official community plan, and that's vetted through the CRD board. And part of those official community plans in each municipality can identify regionally significant parkland. So that's another mechanism for CRD parks to work with municipalities to understand where those significant parcels of land are and where that development may be situated, or there may be kind of development pressures.
Natalia has asked, can you repeat what the statement is
A
called?
regional context statement,
Okay,
I believe is what it's called.
thank you. Okay, another question. Ingrid has asked, how does reconciliation fit with the land acquisition discussed?
Yes, so right now we're still having ongoing engagement with First Nations in the region on the strategic plan update to better understand how each nation wants to work with CRD regional parks and what are those priority areas that that we will work with each other on over the next 10 years. So that's still ongoing. So I don't have any outcomes from those discussions at this point. It could be, working on interpretation or park naming, or it could even be in identifying land for acquisition, or partnerships in that regard as well.
I'm also going to ask Kaylin to link to the webpage for our First Nations Relations Department. They have a lot of really good information on there. So it's well worth checking out and looking at some of the policies and documents that are on that webpage.
So I'll just take a quick moment to let you know what are the steps from here. So as I mentioned, the public survey closes at the end of the day on Monday, April 4th. And then we'll be, bringing together everything we've heard and drafting the update to the strategic plan over April and May, with the aim to bring forward an updated plan to committee in June and to the CRD board, who's ultimately the decision maker, in July. It is an expedited process. It's not normal, I would say, for us to do a process in this short of period of time. One of the factors for that is we have municipal and regional government elections in the fall. So there will be a recess of the board through the fall months, and a new board will set a new vision and priorities for the upcoming term. So that has a big influence on the timeline that we have here, as well as that it's an update and kind of a merging of the key initiatives from the other strategic documents, bringing forward an update. So there's a lot of solid foundation in the current strategic plan. Much of the work has been accomplished, but there's some of the actions haven't fully been developed. So those will carry over, as well as some of those foundational elements like the park classifications and the definition of compatible outdoor recreation. We'll be looking at adding some clarity there.
We have one more question. So Yvonne is asking, how could a person work to change park policy and process to enable more community event permits?
Good question. I would say in the strategic plan survey, there are some questions, I believe, about events and kind of commercial opportunities for revenue generation in parks. So at a kind of a strategic departmental wide level, certainly through the strategic plan is where we would hear that interest for more permits, and then it would be implemented through a review of our park permit process. I think we could kind of maybe have an offline conversation about exactly what that implementation looks like, but there are some questions in the survey that do get at that idea of having more opportunity for events and even commercial type opportunities in parks.
Okay, another question. So Karen has asked, increasing numbers of both people and dogs in all parks is having a huge impact, especially when dogs are free range. Wildflowers are fragile. Any plans to eventually make leashing dogs mandatory in all CRD parks?
Another good question, and dogs probably should have been on that list of issues and opportunities, because it is something that we grapple with constantly. And actually, CRD recently developed a dog management policy, which aligns the dog on leash or off leash regulation with the park classification. However, that policy is implemented through an update of the park management plan, so it isn't kind of in effect across the system all at one time. It's implemented through the update of a park management plan. So, for example, East Souk Regional Park Management Plan is being updated or created currently, and that is classified as a wilderness area. And the policy suggests dogs should be on leash in wilderness area parks. So there is a framework there. It's just implemented kind of at a slower pace on a park by park basis.
Okay, another question. Yvonne has asked, my family would like to support more recreation focus in the strategic plan. We enjoy hiking, fishing, running, and biking in CRD parks.
Nice. And I think it is definitely important to have the youth perspective in the plan update. Yvonne asked earlier about how are youth groups involved in the focus groups, and it's certainly challenging, but encouraged to have youth take the survey or come forward and express their views, even through an interview, or if they have an organized group, they can approach CRD Regional Parks, and we can learn more about their interests that way.
Okay. No questions just yet, but we still have 10 minutes, so please feel free to ask us questions. And although we're talking about the Regional Park Strategic Plan in a broad sense, do please feel free to ask us any parks related questions.
One of the kind of areas of new focus for the strategic plan is the idea of accessibility and equity, and having opportunities for people of all ages and abilities. So getting at Yvonne's comment about families, people young and old, people new to the country, different physical abilities. How can we kind of ensure that there's something that everyone can be able to access nature close to where they live?
Another question, but I think it's more a comment. Yvonne says, I agree that dog management has come up a lot for my family. spend 10 minutes every weekend cleaning up garbage and poop in CRD parks, and we don't own a dog. And yes, that's very unfortunate, but thank you for doing that.
Yeah, the idea of stewardship too came forefront in the focus group conversations as well. That everyone does have a role to play, but also responsibilities to have proper etiquette and ensure they're not negatively impacting others. So we have population pressure, but also with more people, we probably have more pets in parks too.
Okay, still no more questions. I'm going to say, if we're going to stay here until right until 1 p.m. But if you're in that awkward phase where you're like, can I leave? Can I not leave? You're not forced to stay until 1 p.m. But we'll definitely be here. Oh, we have another question. There seems to be some need for community cleanups like surf rider runs. Do we have any plans for that?
No specific plans, but that if that is identified as a need to either do the cleanups or partner with people like or organizations like Surf Rider, that would be something that we would see if it comes forward as a priority and how we can address it in the strategic plan.
I will also quickly say we have a lot of volunteer opportunities in parks, and I know that there are sometimes groups that approach us and want to volunteer by coming into a park and cleaning up for a bit. So it's not always necessarily organized on our end, but there's definitely a lot of volunteer hours that go into that.
Surf Rider was one of the groups who participated in a focus group. And they not only do beach cleanups, but some water quality testing at some of the beaches as well.
Oh, we have two questions. So one came through in the chat. Does CRD measure how parks minimize UHI effect, and do they intend to increase benefits? I'm not sure what UHI stands for. Are you, Emma?
Is it Linda? Could she spell that out for?
Oh, Urban Heat Island.
We do not currently measure that directly. I think we could learn something from you, Linda, in terms of
Okay, we have another question, and I think I might be the person to answer this one, Emma. So maybe an education campaign around how dog waste bags are not biodegradable and should not be thrown into the bushes or left on the beaches. I'll quickly speak to that if that's okay. So we do have a campaign called Paws in Parks, and that's about kind of pet etiquette while you're in parks, and that's an ongoing campaign, and we do plan on doing a big boost of it this summer. So we are trying to get the good news out there about cleaning up after your dog. So, but it's a great suggestion, Allison. Thank you.
I'm still curious about Linda's comment and just wanted to say that we will be looking at identifying applicable targets to include in the strategic plan. So if there are some metrics or some research that you think would inform our update, please do send us an email through the parksplanning@crd.bc.ca. We'd love to get in touch.
I feel like I have some reading to do after this. I haven't heard of UHI before. Now I'm interested.
So also, if you go to the Get Involved page, you can subscribe, and that will allow you to get some updates in terms of when the strategic plan update comes forward. We'll have that summary of all the engagement, all the stakeholders and public survey results, and you can not have to wonder or call us, say, hey, where are you at? This is our new Get Involved platform that the CRD is piloting this year. And it allows us to broadcast updates, which is great.
We still have a couple minutes left, so if anyone has any burning questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you, everyone, for taking time out of your day to join us and learn more. And please do take the survey and tell your friends, and do stay in touch.
Oh, one more quick question. Are you doing research on impact of dogs on biodiversity? Also, I'm a dog owner and wonder what the best dog park is in Saanich East.
There's no current research that I'm aware of specifically on the impact of dogs on biodiversity. But if anyone has kind of research connections or information that could set us on that track, that would be appreciated.
As for dog parks, I don't have a dog either, so I don't have any answers for best dog park. And we don't have any dog parks in our system. We're not very helpful with that part of your question. I'm very sorry, Lindsay. One more, Yvonne has asked, which department receives the requests for park acquisition parcels, and how long does it typically take for them to be assessed by staff?
So that is the Regional Parks Planning and Development team. So Mike McIntyre is the acting manager for that department that deals with the requests for park acquisition. So the planning and development team works with our CRD Realty division to do some assessments. I think it depends on the nature of the parcel itself, how much information is already available, and if new assessments have to be done, that will impact the timeline. And acquisitions are approved by the board, so it does depend on their meeting schedule as well.
It's 1 p.m., just like that. So thank you all for joining us today and asking so many wonderful questions. As Emma mentioned, we're always around, so please don't hesitate to get in contact with us if you think of something after this session. Well, we're always happy to hear from you guys and what you have to say and what you're thinking. So
absolutely, take care, and we'll stop the recording now.